Another big story we're following tonight. Investigators returned to the Lululemon store in Bethesda today, the scene of a brutal attack. 2 employees sexually assaulted, one of them beaten to death. Tonight, 2 killers are still on the run, and police are sifting through evidence trying to track those killers down. Wisdom Martin is live in Bethesda tonight with the latest on this investigation. Wisdom?
Well, Sean, the store remains closed tonight because investigators say it is still a crime scene. Now, for 4 straight days, investigators have been here canvassing this area, walking around looking for clues as they try to figure out who did this and why.
Late Tuesday night, investigators came back to Lululemon looking for answers. Meanwhile, people in the Bethesda community are still trying to understand why this happened.
I think we were shocked, and it's not just grief, it's just stunning, especially this place. I'm also a yoga person. I teach yoga. We're connected in the yoga community.
Dave Schur is a loyal customer who just 2 weeks ago purchased yoga pants and shirts from the 2 victims.
I'm actually wearing these clothes today in solidarity.
Earlier in the day, Jana Murray's family came to Lululemon for about 10 minutes. They looked at pictures, cards, and flowers from friends and strangers placed in front of the building since Saturday. Tonight, who sexually assaulted and killed Murray and brutally beat and sexually assaulted her coworker remains a mystery.
Investigators have conducted a comprehensive canvass in this area where they've gone to other commercial establishments and other points where there may be video, and they're looking at that.
Right now, investigators are not sure if there is any video that is relevant. They continue checking a number of tips that are coming in from various sources. In the meantime, business owners held a meeting today to discuss their safety concerns and talk about what they could do to be safer.
It's just shocking and it's upsetting, and it could have been any of us. And, these girls woke up in the morning like we do every morning and happy it was Friday and went to work. And, it's just a wake-up call, and we just have to be safer.
Now, as far as the surviving victim is concerned, investigators say she is recovering and she has been released from the hospital. Sean?
That is some good news. Hey, Wisdom, we know this is a very busy area. Are store owners concerned about the lighting in that area?
Well, during that meeting, they did discuss lighting earlier today, but tonight when we spoke with one of the store owners, she says that lighting wasn't really an issue because the lights in this community are on a timer, so at nighttime the lights automatically come on. They really wanted to stress that the bigger issue was that they keep in communication with each other and come up with ideas such as having a uniform close time and just simply watch out for each other and communicate each other, watch each other's back so that this type of thing can't happen again.
Mr. Martin, thank you. Criminal profiler Pat Brown joins us now to talk about this situation. Pat, thanks for joining us. Now, we know this attack happened on a Friday night on that busy street that has lots of foot traffic. Police are saying it's not random. The suspect showed up with masks and gloves. What is your take on this?
Well, it's a very unusual crime because, quite frankly, it doesn't make a lot of sense that they would have these kind of masks and gloves, especially if they weren't really targeting the business, which would seem they weren't because the business closed at 9 o'clock, and if they were watching that business, they should have been there at 9 o'clock and maybe inside the store waiting for it to close or just outside. Instead, they attacked later, so it's a little confusing.
The crime scene was described as very bloody. Both women were sexually assaulted, but only one of them was killed. The other was found bound and conscious. Does that sound personal to you? Now back to one of our big stories tonight, the Lululemon murder case in Bethesda. Criminal profiler Pat Brown joins us once again. Pat, we got all the audio bugs worked out now. Thanks for being with us. Uh-oh. Pat, can you hear us?
I'm here. I'm right here.
All right, great. We left off earlier. We were talking about the crime scene. It was described as very bloody. Both women we know were sexually assaulted. One of them killed. The other was found bound and conscious. I was asking, do you think that this attack, does that make it sound more personal in nature?
Well, it's odd that it would be personal because, again, the people who did this weren't there at 9 o'clock when the store closed, and they weren't there when the woman set the alarm and left the establishment. They didn't attack anybody when they each went their separate ways. What happened is they appeared again when these women showed up at 10 o'clock. So either it has to be extremely random or it has to be someone on the inside. It would have to be one of the victims saying, I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock. So, those are the only 2 options there are. So other than that, I don't see that it could be a personal crime of any sort.
Now, we know that this happened on Friday, which was the same day that the Apple store next door released the brand new iPad 2. People have asked, do you think that maybe they were there because they may have been, scouting people coming out of the Apple store?
That is much more of a possibility that they really weren't intending to to target this particular store, but there they were planning on some other kind of crime, and lo and behold, these two women showed up about the time they were looking over there and said, hey, what a good deal. These women are going in, we can go in after them. They did have masks with them, which is kind of unusual even for robbery, but that is a possibility that they simply were looking at something else, and this came along and was a better opportunity.
And quickly, what do you make of the fact that police aren't releasing details like the weapon that was used or if anything was stolen from the store?
I think they're looking very carefully at everything that went down in the store, whether there was, what kind of theft there was, what kind of sexual assault there was. They're going to be talking to the witness who survived and finding out what her story is to see whether, you know, there was absolutely no way she was involved. And I know it doesn't look like it to this point because she was brutalized supposedly herself. But they're going to look at all of these aspects to determine exactly what kind of people these were that came into the place and who they should be looking for.
All right, criminal profiler Pat Brown, thanks so much for giving us your perspective tonight.